What is up, guys? It is the Sound Alchemist, and today I'm back to bring you 40 facts in this new year on Warhammer 40K. So, in one of the previous 4th Grader Wars, one of you guys asked Gersh1 why was he the only one that voiced all the lore for the Dark Angels when he doesn't really like Dark Angels. So, he doesn't do all the voices for the Dark Angel videos. I did some on Azrael and that kind of stuff, but I thought that's not enough. Dark Angels were just released with the brand new codex for 8th edition, so it's time to go into one of my personal favorite aspects of the Dark Angels, the Deathwing. So the Deathwing is, think of the Dark Angels as like a pie, and they're split between like the Raven Wing, the Deathwing, there's a few other wings in there, and my favorite is the Deathwing. So the Deathwing is the elite Terminator squad portion of the Dark Angels that just rips apart anything it goes up against. Now, believe it or not, I actually used to run a Deathwing army way back in 5th edition after I was done playing with my Tau because I kept losing every game. So I'm like, let's try the elitist force of the Deathwing. So I played those guys. Well, actually, I never even got a game done. I collected like a couple squads of Terminators and then I sold them off and I went on to another army. But, I mean, I always like the whole concept of having an elitist army, which is why I do have a Grey Knight army. But, again, Grey Knights aren't doing it for me. I think I've lost every single game with them. Because, again, Grey Knights are mostly Terminators. Terminators are expensive, and they're kind of slower, and they kind of just get bogged down and overwhelmed with, like, rolls, because knowing me, I roll a lot of ones, and that's like the bane of the Terminators. And I think I've been talking a bit too much about this topic, so I'm gonna stop blabbering right now, and today we are going into the 40 facts on the weapons and war gear of the Deathwing. So let's dive right into that. But before we get into that, let's learn a little bit as to what exactly the Deathwing is. So like I said before, the Deathwing is the elite first company of the Dark Angel Space Marine chapter. While most other chapters allow their first company squads to take to the field in a variety of configurations, the first company of the Dark Angels is dedicated to using Terminator armor-clad veterans. This specialty formation is also found amongst those Space Marine chapters who are successors of the original First Legion, which are also known as the Unforgiven. These Astartes don't just don the standard Terminator armor, they also have the relic Cataphractii armor. The Cataphractii Terminator armor is an even heavier variant of their standard Indomitus pattern tactical dreadnought armor. It has layers of reactive plates that absorb punishing kinetic assaults, while the suit's additional shield generators ward away concentrated energy blasts. The cost of such significant protection is a lack of mobility. They also have the Tartarus pattern Terminator armor, which is a more mobile mark of tactical dreadnought armor. It was developed at the close of the Great Crusade, and this pattern was perhaps the most advanced in all such warsuits, providing greater mobility and offering pretty durable protection. In the Dark Angels chapter, Tartarus pattern suits are the exclusive property of the Deathwing, and on rare occasions when such relics are brought forth, they have proven to be brutally effective. And then we have the elite of the elite, which is the Deathwing Knight. Deathwing Knights are truly an imposing sight, for in them lives on the semblance of the Lion himself. They embody silent strength and a veiled yet palpable nobility. In the stratified chapter organization of the Dark Angels and other Unforgiven, the Deathwing Knights represent the elite. Only the Masters and Grand Masters of the chapter rank higher, and they are only chosen from among the company of Deathwing Knights who are also members of the chapter's inner circle. None but the most fell-handed of warriors from this first company are promoted into this inner circle, and they must display awesome skills in battle. A warrior must be wholly dedicated to the chapter itself, and must display an obsessive need to carry on the chapter's secret crusade to hunt down the remaining fallen. In battle, Deathwing Knights almost always carry a powerful Mace of Absolution, which is an archaic power weapon similar to that of a power maul. However, its ability is used to create a greatly strengthened augmented power field that will cleave apart even the most heavily armored vehicles and enemies with ease. To complement this weapon, the almighty defensive storm shield is also used in unison when out in the battlefield. These Deathwing Knights are used as a heavy shock force, and they teleport where the fight is thickest. With incoming fire ricocheting off of their storm shields, these knights march forward to assault the greatest threats with impunity, first slamming the foe with their storm shields before laying into them with their power maces. In the presence of a heretic, the Knights of the Deathwing power up their ancient weapons to deliver a killing blow. The most skilled and veteran of these knights are known as Knight Masters, and they wield an even more potent Arctic weapon known as the Flail of the Unforgiven. These brutal power flails greatly augment their strength and unleash concussive blows that will send their enemies sprawling. These weapons are carried as a badge of office for Deathwing Knight Masters, and as a reminder to all the fallen angels of their ultimate fate at the hands of the Dark Angels and their unforgiven successor chapters. The Halberd of Caliban is also another archaic power weapon that is commonly utilized by the company champions of the Deathwing. So it is essentially a blade that was reforged from the remnants of the Blade of Caliban, which shattered long ago, and it incorporates a sword, an axe, and a mace all in one. And now we move on to the Deathwing Relics, beginning with the Mace of Redemption. So the Mace of Redemption is perhaps the greatest of all the weapons forged by the Dark Angels to hunt their traitorous comrades. Blessed with incantations of vengeance, the hollow center of the sacred power mace flares white hot when it smites a foe. It is said that when the mace is in hand of a supreme Grand Master, it is able to strike down demon princes. Foe Smiter. This ornate stormbolter was wrought by Frederick the Great, amongst the foremost weaponsmith of Mars during the age when tech priests joined with the Emperor to help equip his armies for the Great Crusade. It was he who forged so many of the mastercrafted weapons still prized by the Imperium today. Foe Smiter was considered special. It was presented to honor the First Legion of Space Marines, where it was used to great effect by Brother Bartholomew, the first Grand Master of the Deathwing. And to this day, Foe Smiter can still lay down a hail of fire, and anybody who wields it will certainly never be defeated. The Monster Slayer of Caliban. This ancient weapon was traditionally bestowed upon the most honorable knights of the Order before the onset of a long quest into the wilds of Caliban. It is a well-honed blade with empowered gravity force generators of malefic strength. However, over the ages, it has grown somewhat temperamental, and most of the time, it is beyond the powers of the Tech Marines to fix. It is believed that as long as its owner stays pure of mind, the Monster Slayer of Caliban will strike down even the greatest of enemies. And lastly, we have the Sword of Silence. In the most direst of times, Grand Master Belial wields the famous mastercrafted power sword known as the Sword of Silence. This sword is one of the legendary swords collectively known as the Heavenfall Blades. They are formidable weapons that are only carried by the highest-ranking members of the inner circle of the Dark Angels. The chapter's lore states that these blades were forged from the core of a meteorite that struck the rock in orbit from around the feral world of Al-Baradad. The mightiest of these blades is the Sword of Secrets, carried by the Supreme Grand Master of the chapter. Currently, that is Azrael. These blades wielded by the Grand Master of the Deathwing and Ravenwing also use small amounts of obsidian taken from that meteor. It is said that a small portion of this meteor substance was dispatched to each of the Dark Angel successor chapters, so that the senior members of the Unforgiven's own inner circle would also bear the same heritage, forged in steel, as those borne by the Masters of the Dark Angels. Now, of course, guys, there are more weapons to this amazing faction of the Dark Angels. However, these weapons are pretty much universal throughout all Space Marine chapters, so I will be covering them in a later episode, focusing on the weapons and wargear of Terminators in general. So if you guys want to learn more about the plasma cannon, the assault cannons, storm bolters, that kind of things, just wait a little bit longer and we'll get to it. But anyway, that's all the facts that I have that are specific to the Deathwing's armory. Again, guys, if you guys want more lore, definitely pop open your codices, and check out the awesomeness that is the 8th edition Dark Angels Codex. It's a really awesome book, great lore, great images, and this army is not one to overlook. Also guys, don't forget to go to the Lexicanum to learn more lore about the Dark Angels in general, or the wiki page for that matter. We also have a few more lores on the Dark Angels if you guys want to check those out. I believe there is already a playlist on that, so go to our archives and check it out. Don't forget guys, we do cover a slew of topics on our channel, so don't forget to comment down below one topic if you guys have noticed that we haven't covered it yet. Perhaps you want to learn more about the Dark Angels, or maybe you want to learn more about the Dark Eldar, or anything that has dark in their name. But yeah guys, let me know in the comments down below what you want us to cover next, and it might be next. We also have a Facebook page, a Twitter, an Instagram, and a Patreon page, so check those out for more things 40k. And like I said guys, that's all I have for you today. I am the Sound Alchemist, and I'll see you tomorrow.